A guy named Mickey enjoys a cigarette on the porch of an abandoned house, changing the batteries in his favorite CD player. Meanwhile, his friend Ben explores the house in search of goodies. However, upon encountering a couple of zombies, he runs out, firing back at them. The friends make a run for it from the dangerous place. For several aimless days, they wander through the deserted country, scavenging for supplies. Some time ago, they were hiding in Ben's parents' place with his relatives, but the house was surrounded by a horde of zombies. Only Ben and Mickey managed to escape, losing all their loved ones. After this incident, Ben developed a phobia of staying in enclosed spaces. The bearded guy is a realist and is actively developing his survival skills. He's constantly on his guard and has a vast experience in destroying zombies. Ben tries to teach Mickey fishing, but the soft-hearted guy refuses to delve into the intricacies of the craft since they still have plenty of canned food.
Anyway, look. Fish, 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 more fish.
Ben, like an older brother, takes care of Mickey, always getting him out of trouble. Mickey, unable to let go of his past life before the zombie apocalypse, rejoices in winning lottery tickets, although money now has no meaning.
Hey, $1,000. I want $1,000.
Ben takes his friend to the basement, where he has tied up a zombie, so Mickey can commit his first kill. But the soft-hearted guy can't pull the trigger. Former baseball players, the friends regularly practice pitching and hitting. At one point, they come across a car near a house in the middle of the forest. There's a still-walking zombie inside, whom Ben dispatches without much effort. Despite the stench, Ben jumps into the car hoping to find the keys, and this time, luck is on their side. The car seemingly runs and drives, so they hijack it and continue their wandering on wheels. Mickey, who yearns for civilization and women's warmth, asks Ben to stop by a house of a girl he used to date before all this happened, hoping she's still alive. The guys explore the now abandoned place. Mickey takes a disc with her song collection, lingerie, a photo of the beauty, and perfume. Meanwhile, Practical Ben gathers genuinely necessary things in the garage. After a hard day of scavenging, Mickey suggests to Ben to stay in the house at least for a while, but his friend won't hear of it.
Can't we just stay?
He reminds Mickey how they starved in his parents' house, where they even had to eat their dog, and besides, it's not safe. They need to keep moving and constantly replenish supplies. As usual, Mickey puts on headphones in an attempt to escape reality, while Ben prepares a snack for them. Mickey almost never takes off the headphones, listening to the same overplayed songs day in and day out, while Ben is always on his edge and battle-ready. Ben decides to scare his friend to demonstrate once again how dangerous it is.
Jesus, what the Man, don't do that shit.
Those things are gonna get you killed, man.
Mickey hands Ben a walkie-talkie to check if it works. However, they accidentally stumble upon the conversations of other surviving people. A group called the Orchard discusses over the radio what supplies they need to bring in the next outing. The head of the settlement, Frank, tells a girl named Annie to find the movie Tremors during the outing, as they want to have a movie night for a child living with them. Mickey chimes into the talk. In haste, he explains that he and his friend are aimlessly wandering around the state, but they're handy guys and ex-baseball players, so they could be useful to the settlement if only they would accept them. Mickey brags about his friend's skills, such as fishing and cooking, although he himself has never done these things.
We're really hard workers. Fish and cook.
However, Frank responds that they have no vacancies and asks not to clutter the airwaves. Mickey can't believe that someone could refuse extra helping hands in such difficult times. He persists and asks for an explanation, but is rudely dismissed.
Annie, come back.
Go ahead.
I don't want you talking to these kids, you understand? You know the rules. Stay off the waves and get back in, you copy?
10-4 and out.
Ben asks his friend to forget it and continue their journey. For several days, Mickey unsuccessfully tries to contact the survivors again. Ben notices that he only calls Annie, and the bearded guy understands that his dreamy friend, always in the clouds, has already fantasized romantic relationships with the girl. He tries to reason with the dreamer, arguing that this Annie is most likely a rough and rude trucker girl. After all, normal girls wouldn't be sent on outings amid zombie hordes. Besides, the survivors made it clear that they're not welcome, and attempts to find them could backfire.
You know, you're the only person I know that could walk all the way across New England and gain weight.
I'm the only person you know, Mickey.
But Mickey doesn't want to hear it. He's tired of this life, tired of constantly having a bad-smelling companion. He also wants to spend evenings watching movies. Despite Mickey's persuasions, they drive through all the abandoned motels in an attempt to find the group. In one of them, Mickey encounters two zombies. He leaps into the car, asking Ben to deal with it. Ben doesn't hurry to kill the zombies. He tells his friend that it's time for him to take matters into his own hands and try to handle at least one zombie independently.
Yeah, no, I think it's time. Get out here and fucking do it. I mean, aren't you just a little bit angry?
He handles the zombies without fear, treating them like harmless kids. Then, not waiting for his friend to take decisive action, Ben beats them with a bat. In the morning, Ben goes fishing while Mickey peacefully sleeps in the car. At that moment, a cute zombie girl slowly but purposely walks towards the car. Mickey doesn't hear her and sleeps soundly. At some point, he wakes up frightened by her screams, but then, seeing her voluptuous curves, lowers his pants and starts some strange jerking movements. However, during the climax of his actions, the girl's head explodes into pieces from Ben's gunshot. The bearded guy, witnessing his scared friend with his pants down, bursts into hysterical laughter.
I'm sorry, man. Hey, you finished?
While scavenging in another house, Mickey, struck by the sight of soft, clean beds, can't hold back and starts arguing with Ben, insisting they stay in this house for at least one night.
I want to sleep in a house, in a bed, like a real human. So we're staying the night.
Okay.
Ben condescendingly gives in to the hysteric, but under one condition, he takes away Mickey's headphones so that he remains vigilant. The bearded guy doesn't want a zombie to sneak up on him at night just because his friend doesn't want to use his ears. Mickey tries to object, but Ben explains that he is also a human being. He also loves music, relaxation, and a comfortable life. However, he can't afford to relax because of his carefree buddy, so now it's his turn to be on edge.
It's so loud and glorious. I'm gonna fucking shoot you.
Mickey looks at the photo of his former girlfriend, then once again tries to reach Annie. This time, the girl responds, saying that just for her talking to him, they could kick her out. The orchard isn't the haven Mickey imagined. There are strict rules. Mickey complains to her about how tired he is of living as a scavenger. He admits that he sticks with Ben only because of this situation. Before the apocalypse, they didn't even communicate properly. Annie responds in a rough manner, telling the whiner not to even try to find their settlement, or he'll regret it. Apparently, the girl realizes that Mickey is the worst companion to be stuck with during a zombie apocalypse. Meanwhile, Ben, having had some whiskey, dances to the music in Mickey's headphones. Even in this state, he keeps an ear out. Hearing a noise, he goes outside, tired of his useless friend. In the morning, Ben leaves a bat in Mickey's bed and goes into the woods. There, he grabs a zombie he tied to the trees during the night and drags it into Mickey's room. Then he locks the door and yells at Mickey to finally do it. Mickey begs his friend to let him out, and then there's silence. Ben opens the door and sees that Mickey has finally dispatched a zombie. In a state of shock, Mickey attacks the bearded guy and starts beating him. Then, stunned, he silently walks into the woods. Ben catches up with his friend, and Mickey confesses that he did contact Annie, and she rejected him. After that, he starts crying. Ben very accurately describes the whole situation in 2 words.
Oh, shit, man.
Ben sees that Mickey is extremely depressed. He starts fooling around in an attempt to cheer up his friend. And he succeeds. They play baseball with humorous comments from Ben. Then they mess around in an apple plantation. In the end, Ben manages to pull Mickey out of his dreams. He even starts learning fishing skills. The guys continue their journey and stop in front of a Toyota blocking the road. Ben immediately tries to get some gas from its tank, and Mickey notices that the SUV's hood is still warm, meaning someone is nearby. Discovering that the tank is empty, Ben stands up and sees that some stranger has taken Mickey hostage. He's all freaked out and demands that they give him the car keys. Ben appeals to common sense, suggesting just going with them. Why rob each other in such a situation? But the stranger says he needs to get to his family in another state. During the talking, Ben systematically extracts information from him. The guys learn that he lived in some settlement, and they promised to give him a truck for work, so he would be able to go home to the south. But after working for these people for the whole winter, he was left with nothing. They just ditched him. So he stole their car, and now they'll most likely kill him if he doesn't escape. The guy totally loses his temper and shouts that he'll gouge out Mickey's eye if they don't give up the car. Ben is forced to resort to cunning. The bearded guy says the keys are inside. The intruder has no choice but to turn tail and run. Ben calmly shoots him in the back and then methodically delivers the insurance shots. Mickey can't believe that Ben killed a living person without blinking an eye, but his friend responds that they had no choice. At that moment, a truck arrives. An armed guy with a girl come out of it. They shout that they won't harm anyone, just take their car and leave. While the stranger refuels the SUV, the girl asks what that guy told them. Ben states that he wanted to steal their car. The girl assures them they did the right thing since he was a thief. The strangers get in the car and are about to leave, but Mickey can't hold his tongue and shouts that he recognized her voice. and she's Annie. The girl suddenly shoots Ben in the leg and says they shouldn't have been looking for them. Terrified, Mickey says that they accidentally crossed paths and they weren't looking for them anymore. Annie grabs the keys to their car and orders her partner to take the revolver from Ben. She asks Mickey to watch where the keys will fly, then throws them into the grass so that Mickey and Ben don't immediately follow them. The couple drives away. Mickey spends the whole day trying to find the keys while wounded Ben sits on the hood. In the evening, the guys decide to spend the night in the car and continue the search in the morning. But at night, they hear moaning outside. A horde of zombies surrounds them. Running is not an option because the injured Ben can barely move. In the morning, the car is surrounded by a swarm of zombies from all sides. The guys don't know what to do and decide to wait it out for a while. Ben climbs out of the hatch and shoots zombies with another gun. Then he admits it was a bad idea. Mickey suggests starting the car by crossing the wires, but Ben says they don't know how to properly do it. Ben blames Mickey for not listening to him and continuing to search for Annie. However, he admits he was wrong. She doesn't seem to be a rough woman or a trucker. After a few days, water supplies run out, and they try to drain at least a little from the food cans. Mickey doesn't like such a mash, but Ben assures him that when the time comes, they'll be glad to have their own urine. The guy tries to hide in his headphones again from zombie moans. They cover the windows so as not to see those distorted faces. Out of desperation, the friends empty a bottle of whiskey, celebrating their last days. Ben says Mickey has to pull himself together, break through the zombie crowd, and find the keys. Otherwise, they'll die. Mickey rushes out through the hatch, but after a few minutes, he returns empty-handed. Ben notices that his friend was bitten in the hand. Mickey cries and begs Ben to do something. In turn, Ben takes out a gun and bitterly asks his friend to get out of the car. In hysterics, Mickey can't bring himself to do it. Ben releases a bullet into his friend and lets out a desperate scream, realizing what he just had to do. He sits in a state of frustration for several hours. Then he gathers himself and radios Annie that Mickey died because of her. He doesn't know if he'll be able to get out of the car, but if he does, he now has single goal: to find and kill her. He puts on his headphones, and in the next scene, we see Ben calmly walking along the road with zombies trailing behind, unable to catch him. The actor who played the bearded guy, Jeremy Gardner, also happens to be the writer and director of this amazing film, which had a budget of only $6,000. Share your thoughts in the comments about this modest indie project, shot in just 15 days. I also liked how cleverly they came up with the script trick of covering the car windows to save on extras payment, playing the zombies. As a result, the director managed to shoot 20 minutes of the car scene without extras, although by the sunlight without shadows, you could see that there was no one behind the curtains. Please subscribe to my Telegram channel, where I share the uncensored recaps. The link is in the description and the pinned comment.